Hi, what's up, everybody? Good to be back with you again. I took a quick look over at some of the videos that I've created on this channel so far, and I realized that there's something that I probably should talk about that I haven't talked about yet, and that is 1949, and one of the interesting things about 1949, which is the number of walks. So I know that I've talked with you a little bit recently about topics of sabermetric interest, and there are a bunch of different little things that come up here and there, and we can argue about this and we can argue about that. But there are other things that I'm curious about that I become surprised at when I realize that other people aren't curious about them. One of those things is why you see so many walks, not just in 1949, but from about the 1947 to about the 52-53 period in both the American and National Leagues. Right now, if you don't believe me, or if you don't know about this, stay tuned because that's what we're going to look into. My apologies for sort of not having the most wonderful looking setup here, right? This is all very, very basic. As you can tell, I'm not exactly going to give you a whole bunch of special graphics or other weird things on the screen. If you want to see that, there are other channels that will give you that, right? We want to talk about things that are interesting and have some substance, so let's go talk about it here. We're over here on Baseball Reference, the League Index. You should know about this. I've criticized Baseball Reference, right, recently. I was talking a lot about what's going on with our field and stuff like that. I criticize out of love because stuff like this is actually really, really cool. This is better than any baseball encyclopedia ever, right, because it's so easy to use. So we're going to go ahead and look this up here. We have two different ways of looking at walks. We can look here at bases on balls per game or per 9 innings. I don't know what you prefer. I mean, you can let me know. I prefer it for per 9 innings because then I don't have to worry about some random extra inning games or some year having more extra innings than another or random things like that happening. We look at it first in the National League. What we'll see when we do walks per 9 innings after clicking it twice, we want to look at the highest numbers first, is the 1949 is right around here, right? So I know what people are going to think, first of all, oh, well, we can throw away everything that's in the 19th century. Don't, okay? 1890, yeah, I can see it, right? But when we're talking about 1893, 1894, those seasons are a lot closer to modern baseball than you think. They really are, right? And we need to deal with them. I know there were 12 hits per game or whatever. We still need to deal with them, and we kind of, at some point in time, will need to talk about these walk totals. In 1949, there were 3.6 walks per game, not the highest in National League history. Actually, not technically that close, but still close enough and still fairly significant, right? We have seen that as we've been playing through this season in Diamond Mine Baseball. Now, I'll show you the American League. The American League is where this becomes a lot of fun. We're going to do the same thing here again, and 1949 is up at the top. 4.6 walks per game, which is not only more than one walk per game more than the National League, which is incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Remember, this is per team. So per team, per 9 innings, you're seeing each team give up 4.6 walks per 9 innings. But this is far above anything else. It's far above the 1893 National League. I mean, this is a level that is unprecedented in the history of the National League, right? In the history of the American League, this is actually not an unprecedented level. This is the first reason why we want to talk about this, because as we're going to learn later on, companies like APBA had huge problems with walks in 1949, which is a puzzling thing because they didn't have the same problem with walks in 1950 when that season was originally created. Now, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I haven't done research on it to figure out exactly what's going on, but we do know that they had problems with this in 1949 because of a lot of the little modifications. I would argue that the difference here between 48, 49, and 50 is minuscule at best. 51 is up there as well. There's a little bit more of a difference here. We're talking about a difference of 0.2 or 0.3 walks per 9 innings. It's not going to be huge. It's not really all that significant, right? But if we're talking about the difference between like 1 walk per 9 innings, right, 3.6 to 4.6, that's a big deal. Now, the question that I have for all of you is why? Why did this happen? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. It's not just an American League thing, all right? Some people have responded to my questions. I asked this on Reddit a while ago. Some people responded and said, oh, it must be something going on in the American League. It's not just an American League thing because you see it in the National League as well, right? I mean, you're looking at, 100 and however many seasons, 130 something seasons, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th in the list of walks per 9 innings. And that same year in the American League, we are number 1 on the list in over 100 seasons. So something's going on, right? We also know that something's going on because this isn't a one-year phenomenon, right? I could believe that, oh, well, for 1 year, maybe the rule changed, right? Like the sort of thing that happened with box. I don't know if this will show up or not, but if we look at this here, and click over on balks, yeah, 1988 is the season with the most balks, right? These other seasons you have less than 7 hundredths of a balk per game. In 1988, suddenly you have 0.25 balks per game. What's going on? Well, they changed the rule that year. We all know about that. That happened also, as you can see, in the National League. 0.19 balks, but we're not talking about balks, we're talking about walks. So we can tell pretty clearly that this probably wasn't something due to a rule change. Now, when I posted about this on Reddit, somebody posted a link to an old Hardball Times article by Steve Treater that I read. I love the Hardball Times. I used to have a full collection of the print editions. I actually got rid of all of them. I had to get rid of a lot of stuff. We went to living in an apartment, and we needed the money. And anyway, long story short, we didn't have a whole lot of space. But I can tell you that as much as I love Steve Treater, remember talking with him on the old Baseball Primer back 20 plus years ago, his article on this subject is full of kind of circular reasoning, right? You can look at my blog and find the link to it, but basically his article is saying, well, there were a lot of walks back in those days because you had a lot of hitters who took walks, who took pitches, and you had a lot of pitchers who gave up walks. Well, duh, right? But there must be something going on because not every season has 4.6 walks per game, right? 51 had 4.0, that's 2 years later, right? 55, still less than 3 years or less than 10 years later, had 3.9, right? So something must be special about this 48, 49, 50 period of time. Maybe 51 can count in, I don't know, right? But something must be going on, especially in the American League in that time period. And as you can see here in the National League, the same thing was going on because we had more walks per 9 innings in 47, 48, and 50. And 51 is right up there, and 46 is right up there too. So something's going on. Something's up, and I don't know what it is. I have absolutely no idea. I would love to know what you think about it. I think it was Steve Treater who made this big deal out of talking about how, I don't remember which was which, but like in the American League, the chest protector was external, in the National League, it was internal, all this stuff. It's a good point, but you know what? That counts for like decades, not just these couple of years. Something was different in these seasons. I don't know what. You know, theoretically, we could say that pitchers were all throwing worse back then, but really? I mean, in the entire league, in both leagues, that's like a real big coincidence, right? Hitters had better eyes back then in both leagues for the entire league. I mean, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I'd love to know what your thoughts are and what your feelings are on this subject. To me, it's a mystery, and it's a mystery that I really think Sabermetrics should be equipped to discuss and should be equipped to look at, and that's why I get really puzzled when I don't hear anybody talk about it. So anyway, just my point of view. I'll talk to you later. Bye.